All right, hey, what's up, guys? Coach Mac, Play Fast Football. Today we're going to take a look at some of the similarities between 2 high structures and 3 high structures, and I'm going to look at it defending simple things from 2x2 sets. Make sure you check out some of our partners, GameStrat, sideline replay system we use. If you're looking for a highly reliable, highly affordable sideline replay system, check out GameStrat. All right, Dome, which is the Headwear company that we use. This is one of our custom Dome hats, BK on the front, Crusaders on the back. This one's fitted. You can customize the style, the colors, the logos, embroidery, enclosures on the back. So if you're looking for something that you can build on your own, every hat has a story. Make sure you let Dome help you tell the story of your hat. Baker Sporting Goods, it's a company we use for players' gear. Our players' uniforms come from there. Coaches' gear comes from there. Online fan stores where fans can buy apparel for your team, your school, right online through the store, so you can get everything in one spot. They've got quality customer service, and I appreciate the fact that they have consistent sales reps. As a head coach for a long time, somebody that's been in the area for a long time, when I do business with people, I want to know that I'm seeing the same sales reps all the time. Tough to do when you're working with a company and sales reps happen to change all the time. So consistency is key for me, and they have consistent sales reps. JustPlay, which is the playbook software that we use. Coach uses it for a lot of our install meetings. I use it for our install meetings on defense. We use it for a lot of our team meetings where Coach will make presentations. You can add video clips to your presentations. It makes it look professional. And then from the playbook side, it's the best play drawing tool on the market, in my opinion. So that is why I like using JustPlay. DifferenceUSA, the ultimate striking machine. We have 3 in our weight room. You can set them up in your weight room. You can set them up outside. Once you get them set up, it's just you and the DifferenceUSA pad. Elbows in, thumbs up. Tension coils can change as kids get older and they get stronger, so you can change the tension in the coil. You get thousands of reps. You don't need a partner. It's simple. It's safe. Fast way to train in season and off season and develop your striking. CoachTools, which is a customized player grading tool. You can set up your own columns. You can set up how you want to grade your players. It's a software that makes things look more professional, more presentable, rather than the old handwritten way. You might still want to handwrite some things out on the grades, but then you put them into your database, into your columns. Makes it look 100% more professional and, like I said, more presentable to players. So make sure you check out CoachTools. So one of the questions I get all the time from a lot of people is, when you're playing your 3 high structures, how much different is it? How do you fit different things? So, from a 2x2 system, or structure with a 2 high split field scenario. If we were to see, for argument's sake, if we were to see inside zone. So if we got inside zone here, and they work, let's say they're going to try and double a 3 and they're going to work it up to the mic. They're going to try and work the 1 and see if they can get it to climb up to the will. They're going to zone out on the 5. They're going to read, backside 5 technique. So most 4 down teams that are split field 2 high are going to try and put the 3 technique to the back most of the time. And one of the reasons you'll do that is because your nickel or your Sam doesn't have an immediate fall-in gap to the side of the running back. Now, obviously, the offense can trade the back, jog the back. They can do some other things. But you can protect, the overhang player to what you think is the RPO side. Now, there are teams that can obviously RPO with the back over here. They can RPO the other side. You don't see it as much in high school. We don't see the cross RPO read. So for us, we're always talking to the overhang to the backside that he is the potential constraint player in the RPO world. So we always want to hang him a little bit longer. If we set the 3 technique there, now we understand if we set the 3 technique there, we can protect the overhang because he doesn't have to fold into the boxes quick because he doesn't have an immediate open gap. And then with the 3 technique there, if they're trying to zone and climb up to the mic, if your 3 technique's a good player, he should never get overtaken by the tackle. So now when that zone comes up inside, he should have leverage inside the tackle if the guard tries to climb to the mic. When you get ready to fit that, your mic's going to fit that front side A gap. Okay, so now you've got a B gap player here. You've got an A gap player there. You've got, an A gap player here. And now on the backside, what you've got to take care of is if your will is removed as an overhang player, and he's away from the back, you've got 2 choices. You could fold your will a little bit faster into the B gap, because you don't think that he's on the RPO side, or if your will is too far removed, you can 2 gap or read stunt the end to where the end can take the B gap away and help send the ball out to the will, Well, if you're somebody who does that with the open side B gap, once you've done that with the open side B gap, he's now your B gap player, So basically between the end, the nose, the tackle, and the mic, you've got 4 players playing A and B gaps, And then on the backside, you've got, to the side of the 3 technique, you've usually got some type of surf player, all right, who is going to close down, tight to the line of scrimmage, square to the line of scrimmage, make sure the ball is handed. He's not going to turn his shoulders. He's not going to chase. We're not talking about a chase player. All right, we're talking about a low player, all right, that is going to surf, squeeze, and pop. All right, however you want. We're not talking about a high wall player that's going to play up to the QB high, and we're not talking about a chase player. We're talking about a surf player, squeeze and pop player who is going to squeeze the air out. It's going to be usually parallel to the line of scrimmage. Off of that block, he will squeeze down parallel so that if the quarterback pulls, he can redirect and play it without turning his hips. If the ball's given, he can close out. All right, if the ball tries to enter that bubble to the A-gap, he can try and close that out, which is going to make the ball do something else, right? Which means we can protect our Sam linebacker overhang here. All right, we can protect the B-gap by stunting it or canceling it. All right, or we can have the will fit depending on what they do and what their splits are. If we don't feel like the will is too far removed, we can have the will fit, all right, back down inside to close out the B-gap, and he can fit a little bit faster because we don't think he is, all right, in a position to be RPO. All right, so if you were in a 2-high world, and let's just say you were playing palms out here. So for us in our toolbox, this would be 2 read palms. This would be 2 read palms. Okay, your mic would then be the 3 vertical player, right? So your mic's got to carry 3 vertical. If 3 is into the line of scrimmage downhill on inside zone action, when there's actually bodies in here, all right, 3's probably not going through the line of scrimmage and getting vertical. I know that's the big 7-on-7 deal, but you don't see that a lot. If you go through all your films and tell me how many times a tailback, a sniffer, or somebody else has gone through the line vertical to catch a pass down the field, it's going to be less than 1% of the time. Do you see it? Yes, I've seen it. I've seen it more with the sniffer than the tailback. But they were very rarely will you get the tailback inside vertical, right? So the Mike knows he can be an A-gap fitter on any tight inside zone pass depending on what you read within your system, right? If you get that tight downhill entry point, shoulders square to the line of scrimmage, you know your Mike can be an A-gap fitter, right? Especially when there's no pullers. You know that your Mike can work the A-gap. We're playing palms on each side. So here's, all right, here's our apex player, right? Here's our apex player. All right, those players that are apex players, they're now playing 3 doesn't out-leverage me, 2 doesn't cross my face. They're curl push players. They're going to drop curl until they get pushed to the flat. However you want to talk about it. All right, 2 to 3 players, however whatever your terminology is, your vocabulary that you talk to your players, those are the apex overhangs. I don't want 3 to out-leverage me. I don't want 2 to cross my face. All right, all the things that everybody talks about when you're playing split field coverage, especially 2 read palms. Well, when we look at it from the 3-high world, playing the tight front, we really don't look at it any different. It's just a matter of where we're recreating the player that we might be losing. So to me, if it's an inside zone team, and I'm going to defend an inside zone team, the player that I need to recreate is the 5 technique on the backside. So if I have the nose head up, and I have a 4-eye, and a 4-eye, and a mic in the box, we still play with an overhang and an overhang. We still play palms, day 1, camp rules. We still play palms on the backhand. Okay? And then for us, we play our middle safety about 8x1 off of number 3, which in a 2x2 set is the tailback. Okay? So theoretically, who's the guy we want to protect in this? We want to protect, all right, that Sam linebacker. We think he's the guy to the RPO side. He's the guy, the overhang that we think we've got to fold slower into the fit and into the run game. Okay? The will can be a little bit faster to the fit for us because he's away from the RPO side. But what we've done with the tight front that's different from the 4-down front is there is no open B-gap for him. We don't have to stunt the end. We don't have to take anything away. So what we've done is we've already created a situation where, and again, they're going to have to figure out, are they going to arc release the 4-eye and try and get a tackle up on maybe your middle safety? Are they going to try and scoop a 4-eye on the backside? However they want to block inside zone, we could sit here and argue that all day. But in theory, whatever their point system is or their count system is, if they're going to work the 4-eye out to the will, and they're going to work the nose to the mic, and they're going to try and maybe cut off the 4-eye on the backside. All right? And again, some people say, well, Coach, we would never cut off a 4-eye. We would arc release, read the 4-eye. Okay, that's a question for a different day. For us, the 4-eye would chase the dive. Your quarterback would pull. The middle safety would fit inside out. and then the Sam would fit late on the outside half of the quarterback, because if you're arcing the 4-eye, you're probably not RPOing anybody. You're now running option theories. So you're now, to me, RPOs is a double option world with a pass being thrown. Now you're in a double or a triple option world where you're going to run the ball and throw some type of bubble now or triple option phase with wide receivers. I don't think the overhang is going to get RPO'd. That would be handled, all right, now, bubble, those things wouldn't be handled by the Sam anyways. The Sam's the guy that I want in the window to handle the stick route, the fin route, anything else they might be doing by number 2, because he's the guy to me that has all the constraint put on him. Okay, so now what we've done, again, if you look at it, we've taken care of the B gap. The nose will be the backside A gap. The mic will be the front side A gap. The anchor on the backside is the B gap. So we've taken care of the same 4 gaps that the over front was trying to take care of. All right, and I'll draw it down here again just so we can, everybody can be on the same page. All right, so when we had this front, and just the mic in there, we said that that was an A-gap player, the mic was an A-gap player, that was a B-gap player, and then depending on if you 2-gapped or used a read stunt with your N, if he was a guy that could go under base blocks, he's your B-gap player. So really, we've done the same thing in the tight front. We've taken 4 guys to play the A and B gaps on both sides. So when we've done that, we've created that kind of lighter box theory. We've got the A and the B gaps closed on both sides. There is no bubble for the will to fall in, so now if the front side, if the zone hits, we think it should matriculate its way out to the will. All right, what we've got to do is we've got to recreate that surf player. We got to figure out how we can recreate that surf player so that we're losing that player in from going from the over front to the tight front. We're kind of losing that guy and gaining the middle safety. So for us, what we do on inside zone theories is if 3 is inside meshing downhill vertical, our middle safety will play kind of that J-path, fish hook, candy cane, wherever you want to look at it, where he will be tight because 3's tight, so I got to match 3. Now, if 3 was vertical in our defense, who's got him? He does. There's the apex. There's the apex. 3, vertical, is now played by the middle safety, whereas down here, 3 vertical is played by the mic. Okay? Well, we don't feel like 3 is going to get vertical down the field when he releases inside. If we see a mesh, we don't feel like 3 is going to get, all right, vertical down the field. So anytime we get from the middle safety, anytime we get an inside vertical downhill mesh, our free safety is going to be downhill to backside C gap. Okay? What that does is that now replaces that surf end. So that surf end that was going to make sure the ball was given to the zone and make sure the zone, all right, went where we wanted it to go. Well, now, if they try to scoop the 4-eye, most of the time the quarterback's probably going to get some type of pull read. If he gives the zone and we're gapped out, if the 4-eye's doing his job, the zone shouldn't come back. If the nose is behind, all right, the center and the backside A gap, and we have the end in the B gap, and the mic in the front side A and the anchor in the B, we've created that flat wall, which is the one thing that you're trying to do, right? Everybody, offense and defense with a marker, we can all draw up what we want. If he wins in his gap, and he wins in his gap, and he wins in his gap, and he wins in his gap, the ball is going to have to migrate its way outside, right? That's what the tight front does. That's what you're trying to do with the tight front. Get the ball to kind of fall out to where you have second and third level players, more depth in your defense to fix things. So for us, we lose that surf player as a defensive end. So now what we're going to do is we are going to take the middle safety downhill, backside, he'll be the inside half of the quarterback, the Sam will be the outside half, and now if it's the RPO world, you have nowhere to go, hold your water, because you're not responsible for the inside half of the quarterback, you're not by yourself in the run game, the middle safety will take the quarterback on pull, all right, you can sit for RPOs, the will's not on the RPO side, and what we've done is we've taken away, remember in the over front the issue you have, in the over front if the will's out here, the issue is this B gap bubble. So now you've got an A gap, all right, bubble, B gap bubble. So now you've got 2 bubbles in there. Well, when we go to the tight front, there are no inside bubbles. All right, maybe you get half a bubble in the A gap to either side, but with 4 eyes, there's really no inside bubbles for vertical entry if everybody does their job. So now what we've done is we've put less bodies in there, all right, and we've taken our 3rd level player, and he now becomes responsible for the quarterback on the backside of the zone. especially if that quarterback is a kid that can pull it, if that quarterback is a kid that can do damage with his legs. Now I've got my middle safety, who's one of my best players, plays receiver for us on offense. He's now the guy responsible for the quarterback on the pull, as opposed to the surf player. So I take my defensive end, he sees zone read, he surfs tight to the line of scrimmage. If that quarterback pulls, it's still that quarterback on my defensive end. So you see it in college and the NFL all the time. The defense plays it right, but the quarterback is better than that player. Well, when we do it out of 3 high, we recreate kind of the role. Now, we're not surfing with the middle safety, so don't get it confused there. But when we go to get the ball pulled, technically this guy is responsible for the quarterback. Well, when they do it in our 3 high defense, that's who's responsible for the quarterback. Okay? And then on the back end, when you look at it on the back end, we're still playing palms here, so coverage hasn't changed one bit. The only thing we've changed is we've added a 3rd level player that is playing more like a linebacker, and now we're letting him fix the areas where we think we need to get things fixed. All right? And again, we're just talking about inside zone. You could go through every run and talk about all the different scenarios. You know, it'd be completely different if the back was here, front side, and he went across his face fast, and all your fits and your rules change. You're not running guys blind into areas. We're talking about inside zone, downhill, 3 high versus 2 high, tight front versus over. But the way to really look at it, and this is the way I always try and look at things, in a very simplistic manner, when we're playing over front, and we're playing 2 high, we feel like we've got...
Leo Petty, please come to the main office. Leo Petty, please come to the main office.
Live videos during after school hours, but that's what it is. We don't edit them. They are what they are. Apologize for that. All right, so we feel like we've got 7 bodies ready to play the run. Again, that is somebody who's going to hang. That is somebody who can fold a lot quicker. All right, just because of the front and where the open gaps are. So now when we talk about the RPO world, we've got a player that's going to hang. We've got a player that's going to fold, or we try to tell our players sometimes you're the hang player, you're the bang player. All right, that means you're going to hang and hold your water. You can fit a lot quicker. But basically, we feel like we've got 7 bodies ready to play the run game. It looks like 5 in a box, but there's 7 people there ready to fit in the run game. Yes, he's slower. He's a little bit faster. So maybe you don't have 7 immediate fitters, but you've got 7 bodies there ready to go. All right, well, as soon as you play tight front, it's going to scare people because it's going to appear like a 3-1 box. So as soon as you get to the tight front world, and you're a split field team like we are, it's going to scare people because that looks like a 3-1 box. Well, we still have overhang, overhang. Technically, our overhangs to both sides have no immediate falling gaps because there are no interior A gaps open. So if we wanted to, these both could be, all right, guys that were slower fitters, guys that can hang longer for RPO because the ball shouldn't, if everybody in here does their job by leverage and alignment, the ball should get out there quicker. So pin and pull is an issue for us, speed option, the ball falling off the table into C gaps is an issue, but the ball in here is not an issue. But then when you add the middle safety, I'm going to tell people that I'm playing with 7 guys ready to be in the run fit, the same way that the overfront teams are playing with 7 guys ready to be in the run fit. Now, we're doing it from deeper. That scares people. We're doing it from a 3-1 box as opposed to a 4-1 box. That scares people. But at the end of the day, within the structure, because we're fitting things very similar, because of our back end, so in other words, the guys, the apex players, the guys that we can tie into the runs, these both can go to 7-man boxes real quick. And because you've got safeties over the top, you're not playing 3 deep, you're playing palms, quarters, whatever you're doing. Because you have corners and safeties over the top of the 4 eligibles, these underneath guys are not responsible for any of that stuff to the flat, the bubble. You know, like maybe Rip Liz, you'd have a guy that has to match a bubble by the slot. Well, we don't have to do that. The bubble by 2 here is not going to be played by the Sam or the Will. So now we've got 7 bodies here. We've got 7 bodies here. So I think from a fit standpoint, it may scare you that this is a 3-1 box, and it may scare you that he's at 8 yards, but I'm going to tell you that the numbers are the same in this picture and in this picture. And that's the way we teach it to our kids, and that's the way we treat it. Okay, the numbers are the exact same. We're trying to do the exact same things. So in the overworld, you're trying to take away that open B gap if the will is removed too far, and you're trying to, all right, two gap that end, or you're trying to post snap move that end, or based on the block rep, if he gets an outside base block or a reach block, he can play underneath it because he knows the will's there. Well, we do it with the 4 eyes. These guys know that the ball should matriculate its way off the table. And again, it's all about knowing what you're trying to do and what you're trying to get. We know the ball is going to fall off the table quicker. We know we have short edges. We know we have to find ways to protect the C gap. All right, because we don't have 2 edge players like you do in the overfront. All right, so when you're in the overfront, you can protect the C gaps a little bit better because you have 2 immediate guys in the C gap when it's open 10 or 20 personnel or whatever you're dealing with. You've got 2 C gap players right now on the edge. You feel a little bit more, all right, secure about your C gaps. This front freaks everybody out because they think the ball is going to be out there way too quick. Well, number one, that's kind of where we want the ball to be. Because if we're playing this style of defense, we're trying to get the ball to go out there. We don't want it entered vertically. So we're trying to take away vertical entry to get the ball to go wider to where we have athletes behind it that can fix it and run it. The other thing I like about 3 high structures is the more players I have on the back end, the better chance I have to fix problems on the front end. So second level players fix first level players, third level players fix second level players. So when everybody talks run fits all the time, your run fits aren't always going to be perfect. There's going to be things that happen and you're going to have to fix those and ball fit something. A player's going to go, hey, this was supposed to be spilled, it was supposed to go to him, I'm supposed to go there. Yeah, when we walk through and we draw it up and you show pictures, that's how it's supposed to fit. Well, when it doesn't fit like that, what are you going to do? Well, when we have more third level players, so now I have 3 third level guys as opposed to 2, I feel like I can fix things better on the back end. So I feel like my back end has a better chance to fix the second level while the second level tries to fix the first level. All right, and then we're trying to make the backers fix things a little bit easier by saying, look, if everybody does their job the right way, the ball should not go into B gaps. The nose is going to take one of the A gaps. And probably 95% of teams, in college and the NFL, the nose lags. Well, guess what? If you don't like lagging the nose in high school because you think it's a difficult technique, it's a difficult technique to find a 300-pound body to do it. It's not a difficult technique to play because most of the time a head-up defensive lineman is probably at risk of being reached anyways. If the nose gets reached by the center, not the guard, that's the big one. If the nose gets reached by the center, he's already lagged himself to begin with. So if they ran a zone scheme and you said, hey, look, we're going to lag the nose because unless we move him, I think it's very tough for the nose from head up to be able to beat a reach block. So when he gets zone here, just by the nature of the beast of playing football, he's probably going to end up behind it anyways. So if you never taught a kid what lag meant and you just taught a kid to play football off of block rec, when the center moved from a head up position, he's probably going to end up behind it. And as long as you don't have to worry about him beating a reach and getting back over the top, you've already taught that kid how to lag. Now, if he's a guy that you don't think can do it, and now you've got to move him, now what you got to understand is you got to have game plan deals in. You got to be able to move him where you want versus offset one back, pistol one back, 2 back sets, split backfield sets. All right, so you got to have a system of rules of where you want to move them. And the thing I would tell you is you can do whatever you want. As long as the mic knows where he's moving, that makes my job a lot easier. If I know where he's moving, I know the A-gap that I'm responsible for. And then I can clean my reads up a little bit. I can almost peek at the guard on that side. Okay? And if he stays front side, I know that's my A-gap. If he leaves, now I can look, all right, to get over the top or add myself to the front side because the A-gap player or the A-gap has moved because they've ran some type of pull scheme. Right? But as long as the mic knows where the nose is going, he can fix that other A-gap. That's not an issue. My issue with moving the nose is you get so game plan heavy, 1 back, pistol, 2 back, split, H back off, Y off. You start moving the nose a bunch of different ways, and now there's a lot of communication between these 2 players, and you got to get on the right page for the game plan to say, hey, when the back's there, we want to move the nose away from the back so we know that we can beat the center front side and the zone's always got to wind back. But when it's pistol, which way are you going to send them? Now you don't know where the ball's going. If it's 2 back with a sniffer and they're a power team, which way do you want to send them? If they're a counter team, which way do you want to send them? Okay? I would tell you, to me, I would think 95% of teams that play odd front stuff lag the center, or lag the nose off the center, my bad. And I think it may not be an easy technique to dominate, okay? But if I put you head up on a player and say, look, I don't care if that player gets to your front side shoulder, as long as the other player doesn't cut you off, you can stay on the back side of the center all day long. Well, I can take any kid in my program, and when they get zoned and the center reaches and they step, they're probably already reached, but they're in the backside A-gap, so they've already lagged. So the lag technique, to me, is the easiest thing that you can teach a kid. How effective he is at it, what kind of athlete he is, the body he is, you know, and how good of a player he is so he doesn't get reached by the guard, those are other issues. But as far as just teaching someone to lag, you put him head up, that guy moves, you're already behind him. You don't have to beat him over the top, you can beat him back door, and now you've lagged. Okay, so I think, to me, it's easy to teach the nose how to lag. Now that we've done that, the ball should not be running here. The nose has one A gap, the mic has the other, the two B gaps are taken care of. There are no immediate big bubbles. All right, maybe tinier bubbles in these A gaps, but there are no B gap bubbles. And now the ball is going to be forced to go outside. We don't have to do anything with the open B gap here. Okay, we don't have to worry about a B gap open and an A gap open. We don't have that issue. So I'm going to tell you that 3 high and 2 high are both very similar in theory. I'm trying to get 7, that's why I like. All right, split field theories versus one back teams, especially quarterback run. I feel like I can get 7 quicker than I can with a 4-2 box and maybe rip Liz 1 high theories. All right, so I feel like I can get 7 in the box, ready to go immediately. 1 slower, 1 faster, but 7 there. As soon as we go to 3 high with the same split field principles, I still have overhangs. I still have a mic. There's my extra guy. He's going to replace kind of that surf player on zone read stuff, and he'll play through the backside. Okay, so hopefully this video helps you understand how 2 high and 3 high are very similar structures. We play all the same coverages that we did in our split field stuff. We start with the quarters toolbox. We start with palms, with 2 read. We go to quarters. You know, our 3x1 adjustments are very similar. So there was not really anything that we had to add to become, quote, 3 high, all right, or that that fairy dust 3 high defense, that magic bullet. We didn't have to do anything different. We just had to teach the middle safety how to play our coverages like a Mike linebacker, and we had to teach the Mike linebacker how to become a 4th add-on rusher or a spy player on the quarterback. That's really all we had to do, all right? And then the run fits kind of worked themselves out and became a lot easier because we knew where the ball was going to go, where we were trying to send the ball, and we had a 3rd level player that was fixing things rather than just 2nd level players and 2 3rd level players. We added a third level player that could fix things. So hopefully this video helps you understand the similarities between 2 high and 3 high, understand what we're trying to do when we were, all right, over front 4-2-5 split field, and now that we're tight front 3 high, how we're trying to create some of the same pictures, try to do things the same way. We're just replacing some parts with some different people and trying to make it more difficult on the offense, all right? As always, I appreciate everything you guys do for me and for Play Fast Football. Make sure you turn on your notifications. You hit that subscribe button. You subscribe to the channel with your notifications on. You know every time a video comes out. You know every time we go on YouTube Live or we do anything, you get a notification. Make sure that you go thumbs up, thumbs down. If you don't like the video, that's fine, all right? I know that you've watched it and you've critiqued it. That's what makes us better in this business. That's what makes interactions great in this business. Thumbs up if you like it. Always leave a comment. I've got a couple videos that I'm going to try and do in the future based off some comments that people have left. I always try and get back to those comments. Keep your ear out for the Play Fast Clinic that we're trying to do in 2023. Don't know when or exactly where yet, but we're trying to get it rolling again. All right, and if you're still playing, God bless you. Great job. You're doing awesome things. If you're still playing this time of year, you're probably Final Four, state final, whatever it may be. So keep things rolling. If you're not playing, hope your off season has started well. I hope you're setting up what you need to do with your program, maybe getting back into the weight room after giving the kids a couple weeks off. But setting up your strength and conditioning stuff, setting up your staff stuff, maybe making some changes within your schemes, maybe recoding a few things. All right, so if you're doing all that stuff, good luck to you there as well. Remember, you won't play well until you play fast, and I will see you guys next time.